Hello, today I'll show you how to create a confetti cannon weapon in Scratch. As you can see, if I click, it will blast a bunch of confetti into the enemies. So let's get started. First, delete the cat and paint a sprite. Name it Player. Then use the box tool. Make the outline a good size and make the fill a nice color, any color you would like. Now press shift to create a perfect square, and then use the line tool to create the eyes. Since it's top view, it should look like this. Then name it Player. Now paint another sprite named Cannon. Well, another costume, not sprite. Then use the box tool, make the outline a dark gray color, and make the fill a slightly lighter color of that gray. And now, in code, when green flag is clicked, go to 0, 0, then create 3 new variables named X for the sprite only, Y for the sprite only, and player speed for the sprite only. Now set player speed to 1, set X to 0, and set Y to 0. Then switch costume to Cannon, create a clone of myself, then switch costume back to Player. Now, forever, point towards mouse pointer, then change X by a multiply, then a subtract in the left. Now, key right arrow subtracted by key left arrow pressed times player speed. Duplicate this, change it to change Y by, and change these to up and down. And now, change X and change Y by X and Y. And then set X and set Y to X times 0.8. and same with Y times 0.8. Then, when I start as a clone, forever, then go into backdrops, go in sensing, then player, then X position of player, drag it into player, then you have this block. Now, go to X position and Y position of player. Then point in direction of player plus 90. So then it will be on the player side. Then move by 20, so the distance away from the player. And then point in direction of player. So if you start the game, it should look something like this, and you can adjust the distance like this, but 20 is pretty good. Now after that, create a new variable named force for this sprite only. Set force to, actually don't, instead add a move, then a multiply by -1, and force times -1, and now set force to force times 0.8. Now, up here, broadcast new message mouse down, and when I receive mouse down, then forever and then if mouse down, wait until not mouse down, then create two new variables named canon X for all sprites and canon Y for all sprites. Set both of these, canon X and canon Y, to position X and Y position and X position. Then broadcast new message, launch Confetti, and set force to 25. And now if you test it and click, it'll have a nice effect like that every time you click. Now paint a new sprite named Confetti. Use the box tool, make the fill any color, and then drag out a giant box like this. This will be used for the confetti changing size to 0. Now paint another costume named Confetti, then use the box tool, make the fill a lightish red and the outline a full red. Now drag out like this, then make it a good size, something like this. Then duplicate this, rename it to round confetti, select this, delete it, then use the circle tool to get about the same size as this one. Now also name this big. Now in here, when green flag is clicked, hide, go to back layer, create a new variable named ID for this sprite only, then set ID to NC for not clone. Then create a new variable named Confetti damage for all sprites. Set confetti damage to 5. Now when I receive launch confetti, then a if equal ID equal not clone or NC, create a new block named create confetti, then pause X, add an input X, pause Y, add an input Y, then dir for direction, add input dir, and lastly spread, and add an input spread. Run without screen refresh and place it in here. Now X and Y position will be canon X and canon Y. Direction will be player direction, and spread, you can mess around with that number. Now in here, go to X and Y, then repeat pick random 25 to 60, then set ID to a plus, and then pick random +1 and then 2. Since +1, there's the big, which won't be 1, and then it will only choose these two. because now switch costume to ID. Then set size to pick random 80 to 110. Then point in direction dir. Create a new variable named force for this sprite only. Set force to pick random 10 to pick random 30 to 60. Then turn pick random and then do spread times -1 to spread, and create a clone of myself. And lastly, set ID back to NC, or not clone. Now, when I start as a clone, show. Then, forever, set force to force times 0.8, move by force, then turn clockwise by pick random -10 to 10. Now, if force is less than 0.1, then repeat 10 times, change ghost by 10, switch costume to big, change size by -10, then switch costume to ID, and then lastly delete this clone. Now if you test it, then click, it will blast a bunch of confetti. Now to make it have some nice color, going back and create confetti, set color to pick random 1 to 200, or actually 0 to 200. Now if you test it, it'll have a bunch of nice random colors. And now, paint a new sprite named enemy. Now go back in player, select the player, copy it into enemy. Now in here, make the outline a nice, very dark red, and make the fill a darkish red, a more brighter red. Then use the line tool and create the eyebrows. And now, in enemy, when green flag is clicked, hide, then forever, wait, pick random 0.5 to 1.5, then if else, this will be for the purple enemy, pick random 1 to 10 equals 1, so there's a 1 in 10 chance of it spawning. Then create a new variable named health for this sprite only, set health to 150, and set color to 150. Then duplicate this, else set health to 100 and set color to 0. Now, create a new variable named enemy speed for this sprite only. Set enemy speed to pick random 0.5 to 0.9. Then create a clone of myself. Now when I start as a clone, show, and it will spawn or go to a random position. Now I'll repeat until, then not distance to player greater than 60, or actually 80. Then put in go to random position. Now forever point towards player. Set before that, create two new variables named X for this sprite only and Y for this sprite only. Now set X and set Y to X and Y times 0.8. Then after that, do if, duplicate the if player to distance to player is greater than 80. Then change X by, then a sign of direction times enemy speed. Duplicate this, change this to change Y, and then change this to cosine. Now, if touching confetti, then change health by confetti damage times -1. Now, if health is less than 0, then repeat 4 times, change ghost by 25, and delete this clone. And at the very bottom, change X and change Y by X and Y. Now, if you test it and actually make this only repeat until distance to player is greater than 80. Now if you test it, as you can see, it will spawn. And if you click, then the confetti will work. And if they touch it, they will slowly but surely die from the confetti. Now you have a confetti cannon weapon in Scratch. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day.